how to start Microsoft Word. We are going to understand a few parts, not all the parts of the desktop of the application. We are going to try to understand a few parts of our keyboard that will help us. We are going to try to set our working page, and we'll go fully into creating a document, how to search and edit existing documents, and formatting. We are going to look at just a few items in formatting that will help us with preparation of lesson notes. Then the insert menu will just base ourselves on insertion of tables, shapes and pictures, selecting those shapes and pictures and wrapping text around them. Then we'll also look at how to print. I hope all this comes so handy and quickly so that we don't waste our time. It is not going to be waste, so that we don't spend too much of a time. I should use that word, not waste, so that we don't spend too long on any of this, and before achieving what we need to. I want to encourage us that one of the things that will really make this effective is having your system very close to you. That is, having the Microsoft Word opened on your system, so that you can also go along with me as I start now. I don't know if we are all with me and if we can see my screen. I want to start from the launching of the Microsoft Word. On my system, I have the Microsoft Word 2020. All I did to get here is this. At the bottom here of my desktop, I have a space for searching. So I just make a click on it. If you are making use of an external mouse, then you will have to right click on it. So right clicking on it is already suggesting to me, but peradventure is not making that suggestion. I'll just type in my W. It brings out everything with W. If you have a lot of things on your system containing W, then you can just say Word. So once you type in Word, it brings up the Microsoft Word. Then you can make a click on it to launch the app. So I have just done that now to launch the app. And this is what has happened. It has actually launched the app for me. So with this app that is launched for me, I can decide on what I want to do with it. I want to quickly introduce this.
Just take it slowly. We've not seen the app launched already.
Okay. That is, my audio is faster than my video.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Do we have my Words window now?
Okay, let me do something here. That could also be a network fault on my own side. But hold on. See, hello, wonderful and beautiful ladies in the house. I want to change the option of muting now. But please, once I change it, have your microphone muted permanently. You only need to unmute yourself when you have something to say by raising up your hand, because we are recording. So I'm going to do that now. I'll allow everybody so that in case we need feedback from the teacher, you can quickly chip it in and go. But please, for no reason should you on your microphone to allow noise in the background to come in. That was why I ended it the other time. Okay. So, but Ms. Moninuola, you can use the desktop version for us instead of online version. Sorry, I didn't reply your question. I'm sorry. I thought I replied.
Yes, you did, sir. And that is why. Yes, you did, sir. And I'm using the desktop version. I'm going to make use of the desktop version.
Okay. So let me release everybody to be able to unmute and mute.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll do that and then go, please. I have a call from my boss.
Okay. Okay. So are we fine now? Can we go on? Can we see my screen?
Yes,
okay.
I can see. So everybody, if you want to say anything now, you can raise up your hand. Oh God, this. Hello, sir.
No, sir. I can't see the screen.
Okay. Please, can I have some other people tell me if they can see my screen or not?
Yes, I can see your screen, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Can I have like 5 people raise up their hands if they can see my screen, please? Please just make a raise of your hand so that we can be sure that the people that are not seeing it yet is as a result of a network failure from their end. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I think I can see like 4 and 6 people seeing the screen now. So, I think there is a noise from Afusat Zakaria. Madam, there is a noise from your end. Please, we are all unmuted, so let us try to maintain a kind of decorum from our end, so that we can. Thank you, ma. Thank you for understanding. So I have actually launched the app now. So the next thing I have on my right up here is for me to introduce us to the app. This is the Microsoft Word app, and we have what we call the title bar, and we have the menu bar. We have the title bar and the menu bar. So what I have here showing document 7 Microsoft Word is my title bar. It is telling me the name of the document. I have not actually saved this document. It's a new document I have just opened. I have not done any work on it. It has just given it a name by itself. And this other bar where I have file, home, insert, page layout, and the rest are called the menu bar. They are called menu because when you make a click on them, you have a drop-down menu. You have a drop-down menu. Making a click on either of them give you a drop-down of options you would like to work with. So I go back home now. I'm in the home menu. Now that I have opened this fresh page, I want to save it. I will come to File. Among my menu bar, File tab is the first I am seeing. File. I hope we can also see File from our end. So, making a click on File, it brings up options for me. I have Save As, Open, Close, and the rest. Because this is a new document, and I want to give it a name that I can always recall. Leaving it as document 7, I may not always remember it is document 7. So I want to click on Save As now. So clicking on Save As will bring out a dialog box, giving me the option of what I intend to save the document with. At the bottom here, I have file name. I can decide to choose my file name. The file name, you can see it with a blue background. Please tell me if my audio is faster than my video. Is my voice going with my screen? Is everything going together, please?
Yes, everything is going together.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. So already here, because I just clicked on Save As, the document 7 is highlighted. I can just decide to type in the FTLTech straight away into it without deleting anything from it. And peradventure, immediately I click on Save As. I'm coming back to File. I go back to File. I click on Save As. Let's say I bring my cursor to the file name and mistakenly, maybe I make a click already and the highlighting is gone. I can come to, sorry, I have not introduced keyboard to us before this stage. I can come to my keyboard and click on backspace. Clicking on backspace, because this cursor is at the front, clicking on backspace will delete that document 7. Then I can type in the name I intend to save my document with, FTLTech. Another way is this: coming to my file and clicking on Save As. Now it is not highlighted. I can decide to highlight it by making a double click. That is, if you are using an external mouse, you just right click 2 times, pump on it. That is the right side of your mouse. Your mouse has the right button and the left button. So you make a double right clicking on that space so that it is highlighted. You don't need to tell it to delete. Having it highlighted, whatever you type now automatically takes that away, and whatever you type in replaces it. We can also, after the file name, we can also choose where we want the file, this document, to be saved on our computer. I can decide, I don't know if you are actually seeing my cursor. My cursor is on the left now, still in this dialog box. I can decide to select desktop. That is, I am saying I want this document saved on my desktop. I know some of us know these fundamentals, but some of us also does not know, because this is a basic class. So we are going this low so that everyone can get the rudiments. We are going this low so that everyone can get the rudiment. I can decide to have it saved on my desktop, my document, wherever I want it saved. So, but now I want to save on my desktop for easy access for me. Now, I am also leaving it as a Word document. So after naming it, I come to save. I click on save and it is already saved. Coming back to this window now, on my title bar, you can see that you do not see document 7 again. What you see now is FTLTech Microsoft Word, because I have actually given this a name. Okay, let me close this window now and try to relaunch. I want to relaunch. Because that document is existing now, I want to launch it. I want to show us how to launch an existing document. Let's try to launch an existing document. Okay, it is coming up. It has come up. So this has opened document 10 for me. I don't need document 10. So because I want to work on my FTLTech, I'll just come back to File, make a right click on the File tab. That is if you are working with an external mouse. If you are working with a laptop, just on your touchpad, just make a click. So because this is actually something I have done not too long ago, you can see it's suggested here among my recent documents. You can see that it has suggested it for me. But in a case where I don't have the suggestion here, I can also come to open. Let's say it's a work I have done for a while. It is no longer recent. This is recent now. Making a double click on this or a tap on my touchpad will open it up for me to see. It has opened it up for me to see. But let's assume it is not something I have done recently. So I'll just come to File. In the menu drop down, I'll see Open. So I'll click on Open. so that it can bring out suggestions of things I have on my computer to me. If I have it saved on my desktop, I can come to my desktop, make a click, and scrolling down, it can help me bring it out. Or let us say I don't even know where I have saved it on my system, but I remember the name. So I will just come to file name. I'll click on file name and try to make type in the name of the document. You can see, because this is just the only F I have here. Okay, I have two documents here. I have the FTLTech one and ordinary FTLTech. Like, this is the FTLTech I am working with. So it has suggested it to me. Then I make a click on it. I can double click on it. Double clicking on that suggestion opens it up. And clicking once on it and coming to open here will actually also bring it up for me. So that is just that about launching the app and creating a new document or opening an old document. So we have seen how to name or create a document, name the document, or open an existing document. So this is the document I just created now. I want to open an existing document that is different from this FTLTech. I have FTLTech 1. It is not recent. I want to double click on it to bring it up. So that is coming up. This is my FTLTech 1. This is not something I just created now. What I just created now is here. The ordinary FTLTech. This is it at the bottom. And this is an existing one I bring up. This existing one, to edit it, I can move my cursor to any area of the document I intend to edit. Say I want to maybe delete or change a particular thing at any point on the in the document. I can always move it around to achieve that. Let's go back to our new document we just created. Don't mind that coming up, please. Don't mind it. Please pardon me for that coming up. Okay, I have so many things opened up now. Okay, this is my new document, my FTLTech, the one we just created now. So let me try to introduce us to a few keys, some few keys on our keyboard. On our keyboard, looking to the left on your keyboard, you'll see tab, T-A-B. You also, under that, you will see caps lock. You will see shift and the CTRL. The CTRL is called the control key. The caps lock is so when you hold the caps lock down, when you press it down, whatever you type in, the character is, you have decided whether it is going to be uppercase or lowercase. When you release it, it goes back to lowercase. Well, cases, when you hold it down, then it becomes upper cases. The same thing, the shift, you can, when you are holding your shift button down, when you hold it down, now I am holding mine down, whatever I type on my keyboard is going to appear capital. And immediately I remove my thumb from it, then they become lowercase. That is unlike the case of your caps lock. Caps lock, you just make a tap on it. Once you make a tap on your caps lock, you don't have to keep your hand there for it to become capital. But releasing the caps lock, that is making a tap on it again, then whatever you type comes out on the lowercase. That is that about caps lock shift. There are some other works shift do that I will show you when we are trying to select text. When we try to select text, I will show you other function of that shift key. Then the control key. The control key majorly, as per Word, helps us with shortcuts. I want to believe that some of us have pen and paper there. If you do not have it now, before the end of this session, just try to remind me and I will repeat those shortcuts again. I want to quickly mention the shortcuts that we have with Microsoft Word. Holding my control key down, not removing my hand from it. Holding my control key down and pressing S helps me to save whatever I have typed. In computer education, there are two memories, the ROM and the RAM. As I am working, I have to continually click on my Ctrl S to save anything new, to save new changes made to my document. If I do not click on Ctrl S, life is easier now. When you want to close the window, it will ask you, do you want to save changes made to the document? It didn't used to be like that, but it is better now. Even nowadays, you can also be very lucky that when your system goes off and you start all over again, you can have a recovery. You can have a recovery. That is your system bringing it back what you didn't save. But to be on the safer side, as we walk, we hold the control key down and press S. We call it Control plus S, Control S, and it is for saving. You may need to write this down. Control plus S is for saving. Another shortcut that we have is Control plus U. Control plus U is a shortcut for underlining. There is a tab for underlining here. I move my cursor to underlining, but without coming to the menu bar, I can also select and press Ctrl plus U, just like now. Look at it. With my cursor at the underlining tab, you can see a kind of writing here, underline, Ctrl plus U. It is teaching me now the shortcut. Ctrl plus U is for underlining. Then we have Ctrl plus I. That is for making italics. That is, we want whatever we are typing, want to italize it. We want it to be slanted in a way to really bring it out, to make it different or something noticeable. That is Ctrl plus I. Another shortcut is Ctrl plus B. Ctrl plus B is for making bold. That is for making bold. After I have selected my text, holding my Control key down and pressing the B on my keyboard makes what I have selected bold for me. It makes it bold for me. Good. Another shortcut we have with Microsoft Word is Ctrl Z. I will just give us the major ones we will really need. There are so many shortcuts, very many of them, some that I do not even know myself. There is Ctrl Z. Ctrl Z is for undoing. Let's say I have actually made some changes and immediately I realize that, oh, no, I do not want this thing I have done now. I can reverse. I can reverse everything I have done by holding my Control key down and pressing on Z. You can see that happening on my screen now. That has happened on my screen. Ctrl plus Z on it has helped me to undo everything I have done. Also up here, I have the undo. Please let us look at this left corner of my title bar. There is an arrow turning backwards. And immediately my cursor gets there, it tells me undo typing, Ctrl plus Z. Making a click on this arrow also helped me to undo what I have done recently. Because I have just undone, there is also an arrow going forward telling me to redo. So we can still finish at the dots of 6:50 as I planned. Then we can have 10 minutes for questions session. Okay, so I think I was out at the point of introducing our keyboard to us. I successfully introduced the caps lock, the tab, the shift key, the control, and I think I was on the shortcut Ctrl Z. Ctrl Z is for undo. Ctrl plus Z is for undo. That is to cancel an action. Like now, I have typed something, holding the Control key down and pressing the Z on my keyboard automatically takes everything I have done away. It has undone that for me. And if I want to bring it back, just like I was introducing this arrow bending towards the front, bending forward as redo, there is also Control plus Y. Holding my Control key down and clicking on Y, that is redo. It brings it back, just like it has brought my text back to me. For shortcut for printing, I want to print and I don't want to come to file. When I come to file, I can see the print option, just like I have it now on my screen. Please, can we confirm to me that we are seeing my screen? Can we confirm to me we are seeing my screen? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, sir. So, just like we have the print option here, there is also a shortcut to get to my printing option, and that is Control, holding the Control key down and pressing on P. We call it Control P. That will be all for shortcuts I want to mention today. Control S for save, Control B for bold, Control U for underlining, Control I for italics, Control Z for undoing, Control Y for redoing, and Control P for opening up printing dialog box. Thank you very much. So let us go into developing a typical, what do we call it now? A typical developing lesson notes. Thank you very much, sir. Developing a typical lesson note as a teacher, because that is what really concerns us in this case. So I have my document opened up for me. I want to start with my date, just the usual way we do it. So I have clicked on my caps lock so that everything I type now is in capital. I said I was going to say something on shift key by the time I start typing in text. Where at the top of our keyboard, where we have numbers, numeric key, you can see at the top of each number, you have some other characters. Like on my own here, at the top of 1, I have the exclamation mark. At the top of 2, I have the @ symbol. At the top of 3, I have the hashtag and the rest. So if I need to press anything at the top of any character at the top, I hold my shift key down. That key that is pointing upward is telling you that you want to type any, click on something at the top. So I look for the key where I have my colon. My colon is at the top. So holding my shift key down and clicking on it, my colon is already there. So I will type my date. I'm continuing with my date. Monday, I have released my caps lock. Monday, 7th January. Holding my key down. Since it is only my J I want capitalized, I don't have to press my caps lock. I just hold my shift key down so Monday, January through Thursday. Okay, for my school, all academic activity stops on Thursday. So through Thursday, 14th January. 14th January.
Miss Moninuola, I don't know whether I'm the only one, but nothing has changed from my screen since.
Okay.
Same here.
Oh.
Same here.
Okay. Let me stop sharing.
Same here. Nothing has changed.
Okay. Thank you for
nothing has changed.
Your cursor has been moving anyway.
Okay.
Oh, you are just sharing the right thing now.
We can see it now, yeah.
Okay. Apologies, please. I'm actually you know that feeling of what came upon me the other time. So, okay, I have on my screen now my date. So I want to make some features on this now, like the bolding I talked about the other time. I want to make the date, that text DATE, date, I want to make it bold. So all I do is to select it. So let us quickly see how we select. There are so many ways of selecting a text on Microsoft. The first one, I will be making use of my shift key. I bring my cursor to the front of my date, of my G, and I make a tap on it. You can see my cursor blinking on that point now. Holding my shift key down and using my forward arrow on my keyboard. There are some arrows to your right hand side on your keyboard. You have some 4 arrows. One going upwards, downwards, right, and left. Because my cursor is at the back now, I want to make use of with holding my shift key down, I'm making use of the arrow going forward. And that has actually highlighted date for me. If I bring my cursor to the back, that is to the back of E, I hold my shift key down just the other way using the arrow that goes backward I have highlighted. Then I can decide to come to the tab here and click on B, that is bold. Or better still, I use my shortcut, which is Ctrl B, and my date is already bolding for me. Then, if I also want to underline it, I can highlight it again. Or without leaving the highlight out, I can click on Ctrl U, highlight it, make italic, underline it, or whatever I want to do with it. Now I want to underline it. So I want to teach us another way of selecting it. And that is bringing my cursor to the middle of the text I want to highlight and double clicking on it. I have removed that. My cursor is here now between T and E. It can be anywhere, just within the text I want to highlight. Then I double click, right double click, and my date is highlighted. That's another way of highlighting. Then I click on my Ctrl U, which is underlining, and it has underlined that for me. Another way of highlighting a particular text is right double clicking and holding it down. Immediately you double click. That second click, you don't release it. 2 times, and you don't release the second click, then you drag. You drag, just like I have dragged now. I've removed my cursor from it. I bring my cursor to the front of my D, then I double click and drag. That is another way. I can drag to the end if I want to highlight the entire thing on that line. That is highlighting the entire thing. And if I want just my date, I just drag, double click and drag to the bottom and to the end of my date. If I want to highlight the entire line, I can also bring my cursor to the right corner, to the left corner, until my cursor, look at my cursor, until it changes to this slanted arrowhead. Once it has changed to this slanted arrowhead and I make a click, it automatically highlights the entire line for me, and I can decide whatever I want to do with the line. Maybe I want to make the entire line italic, just like I have done now. And that is just ways of highlighting. Then bringing my cursor to the end of my date here, I want to go to another line, the usual way we do with our lesson notes. Then I introduce you to the enter key on your keyboard. On your keyboard, we have the key we call enter. Making a click on that key drops immediately, brings me to another line. But the way my cursor is now, it is still italic because I just brought it from the last command I gave to it is that it should be italicized. So I can click on Ctrl I again if I don't want that other line. So this new line I'm starting, if I don't want it italicized, I just click on my Ctrl plus I, or coming back here to release the italic button. Then I go to the next thing I want to talk about. Subject. Okay, today I want to Mr. Okpefa and Mrs. Sheyemi. Let me say I want to teach English language or English studies. Whatever they call it. Some call it English language, others call it English studies. So now I have English studies. I can decide whatever I want to do with it. Bringing my cursor to the middle and double clicking has highlighted subject for me. I can make it bold, I can underline it, I can italize it, I can bring my cursor to the end until it turns into this slanted arrow and make a tap on it so that the entire line is highlighted. What about if I want to highlight the two lines, the entire thing I have on my screen? I don't need to move my arrow my cursor anywhere. There is a shortcut that is called Ctrl A. Holding down that my Control key and clicking on A. Ctrl A. Sorry, I forgot that when I was introducing shortcuts to us. You can quickly write it down now. Control plus A highlights entire text, everything you have on your document, on the document you are working with. Just like I have done now. I don't need to move my cursor whether to the beginning or to the end. Just holding Control key and A highlights that. What about a situation where I have some particular text, like I want to copy the things I have here. I have just brought out an existing document now. Ctrl A. I want to copy everything here. Ctrl C. That is copying. Yes, that is another shortcut. Because I have highlighted using Ctrl A. Ctrl and A has highlighted everything on my screen. Then holding my Control key down and clicking on C. That is Ctrl C. Ctrl C has helped me to copy it. Then I can come back to the window I was working with, and I just click on my Enter key to move me to another line, and I want to paste everything I have copied from the other area into this. Maybe I should say that is my content. Let me call that my content. Sorry, we know that after subject, the next thing is not, we know how we write our lesson notes. I'm not teaching us how to write lesson notes now. We know how to write lesson notes. We know content is not the next thing after subject. But I want to drop this here now. I'm going to be making use of another shortcut, Ctrl V, Ctrl plus V, holding my Control key down and clicking on V has helped me paste it. That is for pasting. Ctrl plus V has helped me to paste what I have done here. Oh, sorry, I don't intend to drop it here. Then I click on Ctrl Z to undo. The more I click on Ctrl Z, the whole thing just keep going backwards, undoing each step for me. You can see the way each of my steps helping me to retrace my steps. Everything gets undone until I am okay. And I want to redo. I just hold my Control key and I keep redoing. I keep redoing. I keep redoing until I achieve what I desire there. Until I achieve what I desire there. Okay, sorry, I think there is a mixed up already with that command. There's a mixed up with that command. So I am pasting that again. So that is just the major things about imputing text into a document, typing in text. Depending on what we want, you want to move to another line, just get your cursor to the end of the last thing. Or even if your cursor, you don't have to scroll down to bring your cursor there. There is end also on the keyboard. To the right hand side of your keyboard, there is end. Clicking on end brings you to the end of the line where you have your cursor. And here now, it can also bring me to the end of that line. And clicking on enter, because I have numbering, it can continue the numbering for me. It can continue the numbering for me because I click the enter 2 times now. It has seen that I do not need that numbering. But let us say I actually need that numbering. I have the numbering continuing for me. Let us quickly talk about this numbering. How did I achieve this numbering? I want to undo quickly. Or let us just say, let's continue with what we have here. Let's say I want to talk about my presentation. Presentation. How do I want to present this to my students? How do I present what I have? And I want to number my presentation. We know it is not usually that way. We don't usually number. But now I want to change my style. I want to introduce numbering. So now I have just pressed the enter key. I have just pressed the enter key so that my cursor is on another line. Then I'll come here at this top, still in the home menu. I'm still in the home menu. Here I have bullets. Clicking on it, it has shown me different styles of bulleting that I may decide to use or not use. The other side of it is numbering. I can decide to use any style of numbering. If I click on this, then it presents it to me. Here now, it has given me number 2 instead of number 1. This is because I already have number 1 here. What I pasted here already has number 1. But I can change that command with this suggestion box where I have my cursor going around it now. This is a suggestion box. The intelligence of the computer is telling it that I may not actually want this to be number 2. I may also want it to start from number 1 again. So clicking here is giving me the suggestion if I want to restart numbering. If I want to restart numbering, I can click on that. Then it has started me from number 1. Then I can continue each and everything I want to impute into that place. I want to continue each and everything I want to impute into that place. I want to make my number 1 wrapping text now. I just copied from there. This is what I did. I brought my cursor here to the back, double click, and I just dragged it to the beginning of where I want it to stop. If I want more than that, I can drag it up. I want wrapping text, so Ctrl C to copy. Then I bring my cursor back to where I want it and click on Ctrl V, and it has pasted that for me as my number 1. Clicking on Enter key takes me to another line, and the intelligence of the computer has just helped me to put number 2, knowing that since I have number 1, the next thing I may want to talk about is number 2. So I brought my cursor here again to collaborating online. I have just clicked on it. Because I brought it to the end, to the back of only C, and I double click, it has highlighted only collaborating for me. I want to click, I want to highlight everything on that line. I can just hold my shift key down and continue from that place it stops, and I have everything highlighted. Ctrl copy to copy, then bringing my text, my cursor to where I want my text pasted. I have clicked beside my number 2 where I want it pasted, and I click on Ctrl V, and it has pasted. Automatically it has suggested number 3 for me, and on like that. I don't know, I just hope I am not too fast. I hope I am not too fast, but I want to really go through all this so that we can have a very good time for questions and answers. Of course, some of these things will be revisited during our questioning sessions. So, another thing I want to quickly do on my lesson notes, I want to introduce some things into my lesson notes. There are some cases where we want to insert table. Some content of our lesson notes may involve tabulation. So I want to insert a table into this, my content. So I will just bring my cursor to where I want the insertion to take place. So I want to insert a table here. On our menu bar that was introduced earlier, we have inserts. So I have come to the insert menu. I hope we can see my cursor. So insert, I have clicked on it. Those of us using external mouse, that is right clicking on it. Then I have table. There are so many other things there. You can insert table, you can insert a page break, you can insert a blank page, depending, you can insert a picture, shapes. We can't teach everything during this course of a day, an evening tutorial class. But as we work and play around these things, the computer does not bite. As we work and play around it, we get better every day, and we discover so many other things by ourselves, and it is actually very enjoyable. So I have just clicked on table, and it has suggested number of rows and columns I would like to insert to me. Here I have highlighted only 2 columns, and as I bring it down, you can see it is still working with my 2 columns, increasing my number of rows on it. I can drag my cursor to forward so that I can also increase the number of my columns depending on what I want for my table. Of course, here now I think the maximum I have here are 8 rows. What of if I make a click now? It has only suggested, it has not inserted. Once I make a click on where I want it done, then I just make a tap. That is right clicking. So I have my table inserted into my document. This table, depending on how I want it done. Let's say now I have, my topic is Concord, because I'm teaching English language now. So I want on my table, I want subject here. So I just click, I just make a click where I want to type in my table. Coming to my table, I can decide to click on any area or any row, any column that I would like to have my text. So here now, I want to have my subject. Subject, I want to make a table for subject and verb agreement. Subject, and here I have verb. Subjects and verbs. So I want to talk about the kind of subject that goes with a particular verb. Let us say, for instance, I want to talk about is and are. Those are just the major things I want to limit myself to. So I can come here and talk about he. He goes with is. He, she. Is. I'm of my arrow key. The arrow key that go towards our right hand side on our keyboard. That is what I'm using to move my cursor now in my box. I'm just using my arrow key. We can also use our mouse to move our cursor. So it. And I want to say that all this make use of is. Do I have to write is here and write is here and write is here? No. Then I will quickly introduce to us how we can merge cells. I want to highlight these three cells, these three rows now. 1, 2, and 3. I want to make them and write only one is, so that each one of them can just take is. So I will move my cursor to this corner until my cursor changes into this dark black colored slanted arrow, like I have it, and I click on it. I don't have to hold any key down. I click on it, I make a tap on it just once, and I can drag. I can come here also and do the same thing. Because I have highlighted that, now I am holding down my shift key and using my downward movement arrow. It has highlighted the one below it for me. My shift key is still down. I have not moved my hand away from my shift key, and I select the third one. Now I have highlighted the 3 rows I want merged. So I will right click. I'll right click. On right clicking, it brings out options, suggestion, menu of what I would like to do. I can decide to delete those cells I have highlighted. I can decide to merge them, just like I want to do now. My intention is to merge. So I come to the option of merging cell and I make a click on it. So now it has actually merged those 3 rows for me. Then I can just type is, the usual way we find it in our textbooks. The usual way we find it in our textbook, or our teachers write it on the board for us. So for a child looking at this, the person can see that it is he is, she is, it is. Now I need more row than I have created. I need more row. So please let us just highlight. So I have brought my cursor here, highlighting the entire row, holding down my right clicking brings out suggestion for me. So part of the suggestion is insertion. So I want to insert rows below. So we can increase the number of rows and cells depending on what we want to do. As part of insertion also, we can also insert pictures into our text. Like, let's say now I'm no longer teaching English, or as part of my example, I have, this is an apple, and I want an apple there in my, as part of my content. we just come to our insert. We just come to our insert, and that is on our menu bar. I come to insert and click on picture. I want to insert picture. Then a dialog box opens up. Where do I want to get the picture from? There are suggestions of where I can get my pictures from. I can get from my desktop, from document, depending on where I have my picture. I can also get it from online, if that is what I want to do. But the picture I want to make use of today is on my desktop. So I make a click on desktop and try to find the name of my picture, the picture I want to make use of. I have a picture saved with Apple on my desktop. So I have just typed Apple to look for it. Okay, saying that this image is currently cannot be displayed currently. Okay, let me just open that on a different window and have it copied out for me. I want to just open that. Sorry. I want to just open that on my desktop, from my desktop, and copy that my picture, since it's telling me it can't insert it. So I have just come here where I have my picture. I want to select this picture. I want to select this picture. So I bring my cursor to where I have my picture. You can see the way my cursor is appearing now because of this picture. So I make a click on the picture and the picture is highlighted. Holding my control key down and clicking on C copies this picture for me. If I hold my control key down and press on X, it will cut it. That is Ctrl X for cutting, Ctrl V for pasting, Ctrl C for copying. So I have actually copied this my picture here. Then I want to come back to my work page. I'm going back to my work page so that I can insert that into what I am doing. I want to insert that now into my lesson notes. So Ctrl V to paste it. Ctrl V now has pasted this picture into my lesson note. I do not want it here. I'll just bring my cursor to the picture, make a tap on it, and the picture is selected. There are so many things we can do with this picture. Bringing my cursor to this top right corner, my cursor changes into a slanted double-headed arrow, and I can drag to increase the picture. I can still bring my cursor here to shrink the picture. Once my cursor changes to this 4 cardinal arrow, it changes to this 4 arrowhead, I can make a double tap on the picture and move it around. Once your cursor changes into this form where you have the 4 arrowhead pointing outward and right-clicking 2 times and not leaving it, you double click. The second clicking, you do not release it. You can move your picture that has been selected wherever you want it on the screen. Other things we can also do with this picture, and I think I'm moving to the end of this session so that I can allow us to ask questions, is I can wrap text around this picture. depending on what I want. This picture is not selected now. I want to select it. Remember, you just bring your cursor on it. Once your cursor changes to that 4 arrows pointing outward, you make a click and it is already highlighted. Then here I have format, picture tools. At the menu bar, I have, because I have selected the picture, that is why this picture tools and format is showing up for me. Then I click on format. Then it can give me different things I can do with this picture. The only thing I want to teach us for this beginner class is wrapping text around our picture. And here I have wrap text. Clicking on this menu, I have in line with text. I have not even clicked on it. I just brought my cursor to in line with text. And you can see that something has changed. I don't know if you are noticing this change. Now my picture is in line with text. My picture can also be square around the text. It can be tight around the text can be tight around my picture. They can go through my picture. They can be on top and bottom. They can be behind the text. My picture can come in front of the text, depending on what we want. We can also edit wrap points the way we want it. We can choose the way we want this. We can change the way we want the appearance to be. These things do not bite. Ladies, they do not bite. Somebody like me, in fact, I just enjoy playing around things like this, because when your children are even around you and you are doing all these things, you are like a super mom that you are. They see you as a super mom that you really are, and they are also learning from you. And let's say I have actually done something I don't want, you can always go back, undo. You can always press your undo, Ctrl Z, or you come up here to undo until you achieve the point where you want your thing to be. Because of our time, our battery, yes, I saw somebody just said it, that our battery is running down. That is the situation we find ourselves in this country, and it is not funny at all. It is not funny at all. So because of our time, we have to go to the kitchen to cook. We have questions to ask, and during questioning, some of these things will still come up. So I want to quickly stop here. I want to stop here and have us ask questions that may also take me back to some of the